Well, Dylan was with me that morning. It was May 2nd. It was about 7:30 when we took off, or 7:35.
Well, I live in Grand Forks, so I traveled to drill.
We were late that morning.
And I happened to be running late that day.
I remember I said, let's hurry up and go. It was a Sunday morning.
So I called in and I was going to be about 15 minutes late.
And we got in the car, and of course we didn't have our seatbelts on, which was a bad deal.
And I remember this red car was driving really fast, and she was not driving fast, or she was driving so fast that she didn't gradually pass me. She passed me and I didn't see her. And I thought, geez, this girl's driving pretty fast.
And as we were driving along on the interstate, we were approaching County Road 20 then.
By the time I come up onto County Route 20.
Sunday morning's formation, I was tasked to go up to the motor pool. En route, I was taking County 20.
Dylan and I felt a large crash, or a sound of a crash, and a large thump behind us.
The driver that I talked about with the red car, she was the one who hit her.
And I lost control of the steering wheel at that point of that time.
I guess she was driving so fast, and she said that she came up behind the lady that went over. She said she looked down for her cell phone and she nudged her.
And when I went on the side of the curb on the interstate there, I rolled the car about 3 or 4 times.
I noticed the red car on the side, and then I'm coming up on the ramp and I see this car up on its side.
And as I was just going up over the bridge, I looked to my left and seen this accident and stopped.
When the car stopped, then I ejected from the car through the windshield, and I went down in front of the hood. And when I went down on the hood, I tumbled on the ground about 2 or 3 times.
And I see three individuals kind of walking around and one person on the ground.
And backed up all the way back to the off-ramp and drove down there and stopped.
And I'm thinking, okay, my boy's pinned underneath there, something's happening. So I'm getting up, I'm trying to crawl to the car, and then here Dylan, he just pops out like no problem at all, like a rubber band.
And all I had was just a very bad headache and just a bruise.
I'm trying to put my car in park and get out and take my seatbelt off, and so I immediately just run out of the vehicle.
Meanwhile, I'm laying there, I'm thinking, okay, am I paralyzed or can I move my feet? I don't know.
As I was running down, I thought, oh my goodness, I'm probably going to have to do CPR. So I was running through the 30 to 2, all the stuff that I have to do to check on her.
And she came and approached me right away. And
I immediately just kind of looked her over.
She said her name and what she did at the guards there, and she was a nurse, and she said, just lay still, just lay calm, don't move, don't move.
I noticed a large laceration to her left thigh.
She was, losing my clothing and that, and then she says, everything's okay, we're here, we're here.
An Army guy comes, I forget his name, but he was helping.
He was just a serious type of guy, just really serious. And then he says, you're going to be okay, you'll be okay.
Usually you want to do direct pressure. I had nothing to do that. I could have did my hand above. You usually want to go like a couple inches above the laceration. But hers was quite large and a lot more bleeding than I could probably. You're supposed to lift the extremity and apply pressure, but she obviously had some kind of a back injury, so you don't want to lift it in an extremity. So I just immediately went for my belt. I just went for my belt and applied it.
Upon getting down to the accident, there was a female air guard that was already there rendering assistance, and I asked her if she needed any help, and she responded by having me check the tourniquet that she'd already put on and tighten it a little better.
Because sometimes you don't always want to use a tourniquet because it might do more harm than good.
She asked me if I could check the vehicle out and make sure that there was no chance of fire going, it was still laying on its side, and there was some fluids leaking out, not a lot, but checked the vehicle out, and it was secure. It looked like there was going to be any problem with that.
I just made sure I could still feel her pulse, and she was able to feel her toes, and I did like some neuro checks where you want to make sure they have full sensation and stuff like that. So I knew she was good at that point, and she kept talking, and she was good. She was coherent. She wasn't confused.
The young boy that was there, he had, I'm assuming it was the son of the lady that was injured. I checked him out and make sure that he just had a scratch on his leg and he was all right.
And on my right ankle down on the bottom, that looks like a shark tooth.
And then she tells me my husband's in the Air Force, and she tells me his name. So I call my supervisor, and I was like, well, I'm going to be even more late, but can you find this, I forgot his name, this person.
It was some gal, I guess it was Misty, and said, my family's involved in an accident, and everything was fine. They're on the way to the hospital. So I found out which hospital, and I met them down there about 10 minutes later.